Good morning, everybody. So it's a funny thing. You would think that a venture capitalist would be well suited to make predictions of the future. Actually, the opposite is true. We spend most of our career being wrong about the future. Out of the 100 investments that I've made over the last 15 years, well under 50% were right. And I can tell you, every time I made that first investment, I thought, yep, this is the one. I'm right on this one. So it's a little bit of a challenge to come up with a vision for what the world might look like in 20 years. I've got a few of these that I think are pretty safe. I would argue already in play. So you decide which ones you think those are. And then I'm going to push the edge a little bit with some ideas that might seem a little outlandish. You tell me which you think those are. Would love to have a little vote, although I don't think we have the technology set up to see if you agree. But maybe a raise of hands after each prediction if you think, yeah, I think that's plausible. Don't put your hand up if you think it's absolutely ridiculous and outrageous. Prediction number one. All right, disclaimer, I think that this one is pretty safe. This is already a trend that's been in process. Think Marriott Homes and Villas, Sonder, Airbnb. The lines between hospitality and short-term rental have been blurring. The whole notion of what it means to spend a night away from home have been blurring over the last 10 years. In fact, I think that this is such old news that we don't think about it much anymore. But I'd argue that it's continuing, and the traditional boundaries between hotels, short-term rentals, long-term housing are collapsing, consolidating into a unified living-as-a-service model, an integrated ecosystem where consumers fluidly access lodging, living, and lifestyle services through flexible, tech-enabled platforms. I think we already know that the rising consumer, the young consumer, doesn't really care about owning stuff. They're looking for experience and optionality. Owners of real estate are looking for flexible use cases, way to monetize their investments, make more money. And let's face it, hospitality brands are pretty interesting. Marriott is not Marriott. Marriott is Bonvoy. With close to 300 million Bonvoy members, where does that go in 20 years? How might that stitch into the way we think about living and living as a service? I'd also argue that advances in digital identity, embedded payments, and AI-driven personalization will make it possible to deliver consistent services across these fragmented asset classes. And then finally, if you think about capital, where the big money wants to play, this is an opportunity for real estate and the whole investment cycle of real estate to sort of collapse into this single yield curve lens where flexible use real estate is the asset class, not hotels, not short-term rentals. And for consumers, in the end of the day, we're going to be nickeled and dimed, and that'll be a problem. Plausible? Yeah. All right. Timothy, I expected you to be skeptical. You're going to be skeptical on all of these things. All right, number two, Africa. Africa, absolutely, I think that this is a no-brainer. Africa is on track to become one of the world's most dynamic economic and travel blocks within the next 2 decades, driven by 3 structural forces: demographics, digital leapfrogging, and regional integration. By 2045, 2.5 billion people on this planet will be in Africa. That's 1 in 4. The youngest median age in the entire world. Massive investments in infrastructure, rail, digital corridors, power infrastructure will reduce friction trade across borders. Mobile payments, fintech, AI-enabled logistics, decentralized clean energy systems are allowing African economies to bypass legacy models, technical debt, infrastructure, the things that we suffer in so many other parts of the world. This is becoming a very dynamic zone. This economic confidence, visa liberalization, in 20 years, improved aviation links, and a growing cultural interest in what Africa has to offer, not just its wildlife, but its beaches, its mountains, its lakes and rivers, will turn Africa into one of the most dynamic travel zones on the planet Earth. I think that that's a safe bet. Agreed, Timothy? Come on, you agree? No? Okay, well, I'm not going to win anything. Maybe you'll go for this one. Virtual embodiment. Within 2 decades, international business travel will undergo a profound shift from physical mobility to intelligent presence. Advances in artificial intelligence, robotics, and immersive communications will fuse to create a world in which executives and salespeople can attend meetings, conferences, and negotiate across borders without crossing them. Think Zoom gone wild. The traditional model of business travel, rooted in physical transit, will yield to a new paradigm: virtual embodiment. Next generation AI will function as representative extensions of professionals trained on voice, gesture, reasoning, and style, and negotiating behavior. These AI replicants will inhabit photorealistic avatars or humanoid robots stationed at conference centers, trade fairs, and boardrooms around the world. This model, identity, becomes digital, not territorial. A professional's passport will be their verified AI twin, recognized by global business platforms rather than immigration desks. Plausible? Oh my, you're closer on that one than the other two. Wow, okay, you're a futurist. I'm impressed. All right. Analog luxury. Who doesn't want this? As automation, AI, and robotics saturate every corner of daily life, true luxury will invert. The most sought-after experiences will no longer be frictionless or hyper-connected. They will be beautifully human, tactile, and disconnected. The next era of luxury travel will be defined by deliberate digital absence. Within 2 decades, life for the global elite will be orchestrated by intelligent systems, homes that anticipate needs, vehicles that self-navigate, digital assistants that schedule, transact, and mediate nearly every human interaction. The outcome will be efficiency without emotion. Tomorrow's top travel brands will not be tech companies. They'll be curators of disconnection. In a world that's always on, luxury will be the art of being off. And luxury travelers won't flaunt the fastest jet or the smartest villa. They'll brag about being unreachable for a week in the Caribbean. Agreed? Oh, everybody likes this one. I think this is right there. And yet, barefoot luxury on stage after this, an example of where that's going. Very, very interesting. Okay, now we're going to get a little edgy. Let's see if you stay with me, Timothy. Medical tourism. Medical tourism hits the mainstream. Picture it. You step off a plane not to sip Mai Tais, but to mainline mitochondria boosters. The line between spa day and stem cell therapy has dissolved like collagen peptides in your smoothie. Welcome to the golden age of longevity leisure, where vacation comes with blood panels and every all-inclusive package includes a telomere lengthening consult. In 20 years, medical tourism will finally lose its sketchy clinic reputation. Instead, it looks like this. You check into Amman Cellular Maldives, where your ocean view suite doubles as a cryotherapy chamber. Breakfast, a side bowl with an NAD plus drizzle. Midday, guided meditation for mitochondrial activation. Afternoon, robotic liver transplant powered by AI surgeons with perfect bedside emojis. Dinner, calorie-restricted tasting menu prepared by a Michelin-starred nutrition algorithm. The concierge won't ask you if you want spa or golf. They'll ask you whether you prefer CRISPR or peptide infusion before cocktails. In short, the future of travel isn't about seeing the world, it's about reprogramming yourself while you see it. Timothy likes that one. Okay. All right. Anybody over here? No? Yeah, possible, huh? People are freaking out on longevity. It is the new thing. All right. One of my favorites. Ancillaries gone wild. Extreme ancillaries. Let's face it. 20 years from now, airlines won't sell you a flight. They'll sell you a sequence of microtransactions that vaguely resemble air travel. Every breath you take between check-in and touchdown will be a billable event, dynamically priced and algorithmically justified. In 2045, there'll be no such thing as a round trip. Your fare instead will subscribe to modular flight experiences, where the base price covers about 37% of the actual travel. The seat, reclining rights, window transparency, lavatory queue priority, and pressurization stability will be sold a la carte, managed by an AI called Phoebe. Mark my words. Airports will naturally join in the fun. Want to use the escalator? Tap to unlock. Need gate seat with cushioning? Surge pricing applies. Duty free won't be a store, it'll be an auction, and you'll all be bidding for toothpaste. No? Nope, you don't see it. I'm already seeing it. All right. Sovereignty at sea. This is scary. This is actually possible, given the way things are going in my country. The 21st century will see the emergence of the first non-territorial nation, a sovereign community organized not by geography or ethnicity, but by code. An anchored offshore, governed by blockchain and powered by collective ownership, this DAO nation will represent the logical evolution of the digital economy into physical space, a nation built on land, not built on land, but built on leisure. The DAO nation at sea is not a utopian fantasy, it's a prototype of the next political epoch. As states lose legitimacy and networks gain power, sovereignty will migrate from land to code. The ocean, once a metaphor for freedom, will become its physical expression, a decentralized, autonomous republic floating between the old world and the new. With autonomous energy systems, desalination, satellite connectivity, residents will opt in and opt out of this new nation. Kind of spooky, kind of positive, kind of possible. What are governments if not middlemen? Right? And they're not doing a really good job, are they? All right. My final three predictions. You can't talk about what's going on in the next 20 years if you don't contemplate the Musk impact. So let's sort of envision where that might be going. These ones are kind of fun, I have to admit. Oop. Can't jump ahead. The Boring Company. In 2045, the Boring Company will finally do it. They'll solve traffic. The breakthrough will come when Elon Musk's engineers perfect networks of ultra-efficient laser-drilled tunnels with fully autonomous Teslas zipping through the Earth's crusts like caffeinated moles. For a brief, glorious decade, humanity will celebrate the dawn of the sub-industrial age. Then, of course, everything will start to cave in. The idea will seem brilliant at first. Instead of congested freeways, commuters will cruise in autonomous Teslas through neon-lit mole holes guided by AI traffic detectors. Soon the problems begin. Turns out you can't fill the planet with tunnels and expect it to just hold together. The Earth, it turns out, prefers to be solid. The Boring Company will be remembered as both the savior and saboteur of modern tourism. In the end, Elon will shrug it off and announce the Floating Company, promising to fix it all with hovercraft. Because when the world collapses under you, the only way to go is up. The Boring Company. Plausible? No, you don't see it. All right. How about suborbital transit? Very realistic in my view. By 2045, SpaceX has officially won the global race for suborbital travel. No longer content with rockets to Mars, Elon Musk will decide to conquer the only frontier left unmusked, the humble business trip. SpaceX Starliners will fully reusable and autonomously piloted will blast travelers through suborbital arcs at 17,000 miles an hour. Of course, there will be complications. Launching rockets near cities turns out to be tricky business. And then there will be the motion sickness issue. SpaceX will claim that 97% of passengers adjust within 2 flights, yet unverified footage will suggest otherwise. Executives staggering off of the craft, clutching briefcases with SpaceX ground crews mopping up the landing pad. What do you think? There will be competitive pain as well. Virgin Galactic will rebrand as a high-altitude spa. Boom Supersonic will pivot to scenic balloon rides. And SpaceX dominance will finally be sealed when the company announces Star Commute Pro, a subscription offering unlimited suborbital travel. Nope. Poor Elon, he's just not going to work it out. All right, and then finally, and this one got a little bit of a shout out in the last session, and this is moon travel. My final prediction 20 years from now is Westworld on the moon. By 2045, one of Elon Musk's many sons, let's call him X-Aeon Jr., maybe, he will finally out-Musk his father, tired of Earth's regulatory drag and Mars's dust allergies. He'll unveil humanity's next great luxury escape, Westworld Luna. Plans for a full-scale fantasy resort on the moon where guests can literally lose themselves in adventure, vice, and zero-gravity dancing. Upon landing, guests will step into vast, domed biomes, meticulously themed Cowboy Canyon. Everything will be run by humanoid robots built by Dad's XII company. Westworld Luna will promise complete immersion. All hosts will remember every guest's choice across visits, creating long story arcs that blur the lines between vacation and therapy. Unfortunately, a few minor incidents will occur. Robot revolts, manufactured airlocks, and guests who forget they're still in character while re-entering orbit. Before long, the moon will glow at night, not from reflected sunlight, but from neon billboards, advertising real adventure, artificial consequences. Excuse me. In the end, Elon's son will have achieved what every Musk dreams of, uniting space exploration, capitalism, and chaos in one glittering lunar sandbox. Plausible? All right, well, that's crazy. You guys are kind of a little bit crazy. So those are my next predictions for the next 20 years. I think some of these are quite possibly true. The good news is that in 20 years, I'll be 81 years old, so if I'm wrong, I won't care and I won't remember what I predicted. So that's all good. Thank you very much.
For the next 2 hours.